Game developers know that people have more fun when they are in large groups. They feel more fired up when challenges are more epic. So if you also abide by the same, and if you feel the same, you have come to the right place today. And I would like to welcome you all in today's webinar on game developers journey, building your path to success. And I hope that you all are safe, sound, happy, and fine at wherever you're taking this webinar from. So before we move on and learn about the journey of game development, we have our experts here with us. So I shall introduce you to our expert. We have Professor Rishi Chopra, Assistant Professor, Assistant Dean, School of Computer Applications, lovely professional university here. He is a published author and 2 years of teaching experience at undergraduate and postgraduate level. He has guided a key role in administration as a project head. He has delivered 200 plus career counselings, motivation sessions, and seminars at various organizations of repute. He has organized various technical events and has been the part of international and national conferences as well. So, sir, it is my pleasure to be here, and I heartily welcome you in the webinar. And with this, I shall introduce our second expert, Ms. Neha, an assistant professor, School of Computer Application, lovely professional university. She is a published academician who is aspiring to grow and achieve excellence. She's already moved towards that by working on several projects like AnswerBack, Remote Script. She has been developing various games like Rolling Ball, Solar System Simulation, Basketball, Adventure Games, and others as well. And she has also worked with AR and AI-based games as well. So, ma'am, it is my pleasure again to be here, and I sincerely welcome you in the webinar. And with this, I would like to request Rishi Chopra sir, kindly please take over the screen. Sir, over to you, and looking forward for an amazing session.
Wonderful. Thank you, Imanshi, for a wonderful introduction of yours. And I would like to welcome our expert, Ms. Neha, as well. Today, my role I'll be just talking about a little flow, how to level up your career, a guide to becoming a game developer. All those who are looking for a career in gaming, let's spend some time in this webinar and look through what is your career pathway and what all things are mandatory for you. And this will definitely level up your the education part and your information that is necessary for becoming a game developer. I'll move up quickly with a few of the slides with you. So I'll be talking about a little bit of introduction of game development, learning the fundamentals, choosing your platform, creating a game design document, which is really very important, and starting small and then building up the things and joining a community. These are a few tips which I'll be giving you very quickly, and then Ms. Neha will take over how to proceed with these things actually. Now, let's go for a little bit of introduction. And with this introduction, I'll be welcoming you to the world of game development. And if you are passionate about the video games and you want to turn that passion into your career, then this presentation is for you, and this is going to guide you and will explore the steps you need to take to become a game developer, right? Game development is an exciting and ever-evolving field that requires both creativity and technical skills. So if you are creative and technical skills, of course, we can give you the pathway for that. That's the career for you. For this, if you want to proceed with gaming, you need to learn the fundamentals. That's very, very important thing. First thing that you need to go ahead with. Before diving into game development, it is important to learn the fundamentals, which include the concepts like variables, loops, conditionals, as well as design principles like user interface and game mechanics. So, without solid understanding of these basics, it's tough to be successful in games. So, uh, you need to go through these fundamentals, and there are many resources available, and definitely Ms. Neha would be guiding you about this in detail. So fundamentals are the key. The first thing need to know is the programming fundamentals. Second, you need to actually choose your platform where you want to work with. So games are possible on a PC, on a console, like you see PlayStations. These are the consoles. PC, that is personal computer. Definitely, if you want to make a game for a personal computer, or you want to go for a mobile or a console, so you need to decide upon, you need to choose the platform before starting the things, because various platforms which we are going to discuss, these three platforms are having pros and cons. So you see, PC offers more flexibility and control, but it requires more technical knowledge. The console development is more streamlined and easy, but it is very, very expensive, right? Mobile games are accessible to the wider audience, but there are hardware limitations also. It works on various mobiles, it doesn't work on others. So you need to first choose a platform also. Make sure. Now, the next important thing is creating a GDD, that is game design document. It is a crucial step in the game development process, and it's a blueprint of your game that outlines the gameplay mechanics, the story, the characters, and the style which you are going to use in your game. Without a GDD, it is very easy to lose the focus. You'll gradually lose the focus if you don't document it in a way. So GDD is like a very brainstorming thing, and you need to create a GDD, right? And after that, you have to keep in your mind that you have to start small and build up on that. Start making a little thing. That little thing can be a small puzzle game. It can be a platformer, or over a text-based adventure thing. It's quite easy to make a little thing, and then you need to build upon that, enhance the things gradually. So keep this important thing into your mind, that you need to start small. Don't think that I'll be starting with a very big thing and it will work out for you. No, every game developer starts with a little thing and that grows up like that, right? Now, the last thing which I want to tell you before handing it over to Ms. Neha is joining a community. Community joining is very, very important, but because I just want to say it's a collaborative process. Game development is a collaborative process. You cannot actually design a full-fledged game of your own. You need a support and the feedback, the networking opportunities. There are many online forums and Discord servers, and there are local meetups also. You will find so many communities which you get into, and by participating in these communities, you can learn from others, get feedback, and even find potential collaborators in future projects also. So don't be afraid to reach out and connect the other developers. It could be the key to unlocking a full potential actually. Don't feel like that uh, I'll do it myself and then disclose it suddenly. No, it won't work. Be open-minded and get into the things. Okay. So these are few things which were from my side, and I'll now hand over the things to Professor Neha. She'll be actually diving deep into the things, and thank you so much. That's all from my side.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you,
sir.
sir. Yeah, ma'am, you carry on, ma'am. Yeah, ma'am.
Sure, ma'am. I just shared my presentation. Visible, ma'am? Good morning, everyone. Very good morning to all of you. So, ma'am has already given a brief introduction about myself. Right, I'm currently working as an assistant professor here at W. Professional University, and specifically talking about gaming specialization. Right, I've been working into this field, or I've been teaching this subject from almost last 5 years. And today we'll be talking about that if you want to be a game developer, how can you build your journey and what are the things you should be taken care, all right? And what are the different components and what are the different platforms that are available for this. Okay, so to start the session. So first of all, I just want to ask you a brief question that are you interested in playing games, right? And definitely I know that since from like childhood everyone is interested, everyone is like from day like from morning till evening they love to play the games, okay, but there are very few students or very few persons who think about creating those games as well, right? We always love to, but if we love to play those games, why not we can develop as well, and why can't we just market them and we can earn through them as well. Okay, so since I was also when I was playing some games, and there are some thought process we always have. Why can't we change the, you can say, designing? Why can't we change the mechanics of the game? All right. So now we have that you can say platform with us where you can create your own games, where you can implement your own imagination, where you can use your own creativity, and you can showcase the world that what you can actually. Okay. So to start with, first of all, we should know about what actually a game is. Okay, like because we usually play in the childhood, you can say the girls used to play with toys or like kitchen related items. So we also call them as games, like we are playing games. But games are some specific definition, right? So what is a game as actually is, we call it as an organized form of play. Okay, whenever you used to play in your childhood, some right, like would say just with the dolls or any other items. So that is not we call as a game. That is just we call as we are playing, right? But if I talk about specifically a game, so game we call as organized, where you have certain objectives to achieve, right? Right now, you can say there are multiple games in the market, Subway Surfer, Temple Run. So you always have an objective. If there is no objective, you won't play it, right? So whenever anything which is in organized form, and then it has certain set of rules, certain set of, you can say, motivation for you, and then you start playing that, and then that is what is called as a game. Okay, so that is how to be categorized. Okay. And let's talk about that, about this career, because usually every student has one thing in their mind is like they wanted to be a web developer, software. Majority, there are very few persons who think of being a game developer. So we need to realize that in today's era, game development is also emerging so much. The industry of game development is too high, right? So if I compare the video games with respect to movies, how it is different from the movies industry. See, in movies, what you can do is obviously everything you usually want to implement your own creativity, you can implement by, you can creating movies as well. But in case of movies, you cannot interact. Okay, a person cannot interact. You can just you can sit and watch it. You can just analyze it, but you cannot feel yourself in it. While playing games, you feel yourself. Okay, you actually feel that you are actually living in that virtual world, and you yourself are playing. So that interactivity is one of the major factor which is differentiating your games with respect to your movies. All right. And second is, if we talk about movies with respect to software industry. So in software and movies is the major, you can say the difference is the fun element or the entertainment. Okay, software, we have the content is different. We make it for a specific purpose. Okay, like for maybe university, for a company, for achieving a specific object. All right. But the games we make is just for our fun, for our entertainment. Okay. Not only for this, but this is one factor which is differentiating from software. We create games for, you can say, some learning purpose also. Okay. But how it is different from software industry is the main is the fun element we added. Because see, from like morning till evening, you are so much busy in your like whole day workouts and other things, your jobs, that you need something where you can just feel, you can say relax. And that is where one also loves to, right? Some students or persons, they also love to play games so that they can feel relaxed. Their mind can feel relaxed. Okay. So if I talk about the market industry, right? About the market industry, like in terms of gaming, you can say like mobile games or console, as sir has already talked about, that we need to also select the platform that where we are going to work upon. We are going to create games for the mobile or for the console or for the PCs or maybe multiple other platforms we have, right? If I talk about the market share in today's era, the gaming's market share is too high. Okay, and this is, I'm just showing it for which is like about 2019, but in future, the market is going to grow like more and more. Okay, and if you talk about music or music industry, it is far lesser than the game. Okay, so means if you are thinking to develop your career in game development, it is going to boost. All right, you are going to have a boost in your career and you are going to achieve so many. And with respect to this, I just want to share like what are the multiple profiles you can have in the game, because respect to software industry, everyone has that one, you can say profile, like I want to be a web developer or a software developer, or maybe a designer, something like that. So, but in gaming, you have multiple job opportunities. Okay, starting with first as game designer, then you have a developer. Okay, now what is the difference between a designer and a developer? See, in gaming, you would see that you need see the graphics part, the design part. Okay, the graphic and the designing and the whole era you design, because the very first thing which interacts to a player, right, or which attracts to a player is the environment design. Okay, the graphics basically. Okay, so that is the role of a game design. If you think you are very good in creativity, you are very good in, you can say, designing environment and model structure, then you can be a game designer as well. Secondly, if you feel like you are very good in programming, developer, right, developing technical skills, right? If you are very good in technical skills, then you can be a game developer. Okay, then few others we have is animator, artist, audio. Now see, game is actually a bundle of so many things. So, okay, if let's talk about PUBG. PUBG is very, you can say, popular nowadays, right? And everyone. So it's like the environment, like, and the sound it has. Okay, the way multiple, you can say, the players from the multiple remote locations they can join. So each and every element of that game actually attracts the player. Okay, so there should be animations, all right? There should be audio. Audio is very important. So for respective, just for audio, they have separate audio engineers who actually decides that what type of audio should be, you can say, implemented or should be included in this so that it can create a good effect on the players, right? Then writer is like, as sir has already talked about, GDD, right? Game design document, which is a very important part of our gaming. Because before implementing anything, you need to first write it down. That what is going to be the storyline, what are the elements it is going to have. All right. So that documentation is very important because see, gaming is not, you can say it's for only for work for only for it's a group of like for one people or two people. It is going to be made by maybe 10, 15 or 2. All right. So we need a documentation which needs to be shared with each and everyone. All right. So that they should be aligned with that what needs to be done. Okay. Whether you talk about a designer or an animator or an artist or a developer. Okay. See, game designer and artist, these two terminologies are somewhat related because they both are going to design. But game designer is the one who actually designs the whole environment. Okay. And the artist is the one who can say who designs the model. You can see there are multiple characters in your games, right? And like there are multiple characters, and then there are some models being designed in that, right? Some specific obstacles are being designed. So that's small things. These are made by the artist. Okay. Further, I will also let you know that what are the softwares or the tools they use. Okay, so that you can get an idea that once you have to build your career, then what are the tools you have. Okay, and then we have game tester. See, we have a designer, we have sound engineers, artists, animations. Now we made a game. So after creating a game, without testing, we can't, you can say, build it on a specific platform, or we cannot implement it on a specific. It's very important for like test to test it. So as in software industry, there are software testers, and gaming also we have game testers. They test the game, they actually see that how does the game works. Is there any, you can say, errors, any bugs in that? If yes, then they would try. Okay. So once the game is fully tested, everything's been developed, fine. So then we have produced. Okay. There comes the selection of the platform as well, right? That for what platform you're going to produce the game. It is going to be a PC, it is going to be for Android or iOS or any other platform. Okay, so that is to be decided by the producer, and then accordingly then. Okay, and in overall all these development, there are like 2 to 3 persons. One is the project manager and the marketing manager, which plays a very important role. Okay, because to deal with that, a group of 15 people who are working towards building a game, there is one person who needs to manage each and everything, that what actually a project manager is. And again, obviously for a project manager for certain games, you should have an idea about what game development is. Then only you can guide your, you can say, the other group of people. And marketing, obviously, you can see that like the movies have the trailers, and we in case of gaming industry, yeah, games as well, we also have trailers. Okay, that's a sort of marketing needs to be done. You have to create that you can say curiosity in the players, right? This is what we are going to give you in the game, and this is what you are going to have. This is what is the storyline is very important. So that is the role of a marketing manager, to actually market your game, right? To just spread your idea throughout the whole world. Okay. And professional gamer, there are so many competitions where you can say there are professional gamers who play and then win. Okay. So that is also one of specific group. Okay. So in gaming, you can see there are multiple profiles which you can go for. Okay. So now I hope you must have an idea about that, what is actually a gaming industry is, how it is different from other industries, and what are the career profiles that you can have this, right? And if I talk about just a specific, let's say, what is a game actually in a game? Once you play a game, you always see a front end. And then once you click on play, then you see a specific gameplay area, all right? And then once you finish up a game, then you actually see the finishing screen. So basically, every game has 3 certain elements, right? 3 elements in every game. That is the front end and the gameplay area. And so if I talk about the front end is also being designed by a game designer. It includes game options, play, pause, right? And it also gives you an overview of the game. So always gives you that what are the players, you can say, what is the player mechanics. Now, what is the word mechanics is? Mechanics is like, what are the rules and regulations player has? How is player is going to react towards the game? Okay, for example, if I talk about this Subway Surfer, the player is running, right? So if I have to move left and right, what are the keys I'm going to press? If I have to jump, what are the keys we are going to press? Right. So all these rules and regulations are being described on the very first page on the front end, where you have game options, sound options, video. Okay, and now then actual game area comes. Game area is the actual area where you actually play your game, all right? And here you will have, you can say, the game area, obviously obstacles, whatever the environment you want to design along with your character. And apart from that, you will have a pause and resume button, so that you can just pause and go back, and you can resume the game where you have stopped at. Okay, so this is the main game area. And the third element or third part of your game is always the end, right? End screen. Okay. So in the end screen also, one most important thing is the rewards, the coins, or the, you can say, the scoring. Okay, so scoring is very important. Why people usually play Temple Run again and again or Subway Surfer again? The scoring. They want to just achieve a high score again and again. Okay, and if you always have certain rewards for that, so eventually, obviously, they will play again and again to just win those rewards. Okay, so means each and every element of a game or each and every screen of a game is very important for us. The first screen gives you an idea about game. Second is your main gameplay area where you actually work and where actually you interact, right? And the last is you get to know that what actually you achieved, what is your score level and any specific rewards. So this is very important whenever you are going to develop any specific game. So you always think about these three areas, that how the things will go. Okay. So overall, we just talk about games. So in overall, what is game development is? It's actually about creating games, okay, and designing, developing, and everything. Means whatever the rules I have described, combining each and everything, starting from creating, then designing, then developing, and then at the end, the release of a game. The whole process is called as game development, right? And we also call it a game development life cycle. Okay, means this is a whole stages being followed from designing, developing till the release. Okay. Now, if I have to create a complex game, now let's talk about the paths or the steps we need to follow. Okay. So these are the three main stages in a game development process. First one is the pre-production. Then second one is the production. And the third one is the post. Pre-production means before actually creating a game. Okay, post is after once you have built your game, you have tested, then what? Then what afterwards? Okay, so see, gaming industry is somewhat different from the software. In software, what you do is you have certain requirement specification with you. You create it, you make it, and then you just give that software right to your client, and you're done. Right, but game development, I would say it's a type of a cyclic process. Okay, cyclic as in it always works on feedback. Okay, that feedback is very important. See, let's suppose I just created one stage of a game and then I will play it and then I'll got a feedback. Okay, because see, if a game is not actually attractive to you yourself, right, and it's you are not actually enjoying it, so then how other players or how other people will enjoy it? Okay, so that's where the stage comes, the pre-production. Okay, where we have first our idea, which is the pitch. Okay, so maybe it could be your own idea, or maybe that you are in a company and a client comes to you with an idea that I want to just make this. Okay, so first is your idea, and then you share your idea with your team. That is where what is called as brainstorm. Okay, and why this is important, brainstorming, because see, whenever you share your ideas with your team, they'll give you certain feedback that this is something can make your game more attractive, more, you can say attractive and more attractive to the players, and can be played maybe more than hundreds or like more than 100 or thousands of people, right? Once your idea is done, you are satisfied with your idea, then second step is your documentation, right? So we'll create a documentation, as already we have talked. Documentation is very important, written documentation where you write it down, each and everything, right? And then is the project plan. You decide, basically we decide the timeline, right? That if this is a game, you have created a written documentation, then what is the whole timeline you are going to have, that till what time you are going to finish, and you can even divide your stages into milestones. That first stage can be completed by this time, and second stage can be completed by this time, like this. Okay, and then finally comes the prototype. Okay, so this was I was talking about. We don't create a full-fledged game at once. Okay, you always start with small things. Okay, small things like we call as a prototype as well. So like prototype is a smallest version of a bigger model. Right. So we'll start at the basic, you can say game designing or game development. We will check it and we'll see the feedback whether it works properly or not. And then based on the feedback, we start improving. Okay, so pre-production is always first start with the prototype. Okay, and even if it is a client works, you start with the prototype, you show that prototype to your client, and then they are satisfied. Then you actually go to the final stage of it. where you eventually design your whole game, design, development, then art production is all about like animation, designing, model, texturing, each and everything. Then audios, then you have to include audios, because without audios, obviously no one will be interested in playing games, right? And then finally will be the testing part, which we already talked about. Testing, we need to test whether is there any error. Okay, and then post production is also important. Like you play so many games, but you always look for certain updates. For example, just say like, for example, we have Candy Crush, we have Temple Run or PUBG I was talking about. Okay, so you play those games, but at one point of time, the people like just playing those games again and again, they will feel. So that post-production, that maintenance is also very important. Maintenance means you always need to make sure that you just add some more elements, right, timely, so that you can say it should be still attractive and attractive to the players. Okay, so that updates is very important. And in case of, is there any you can say issue for a player in that particular game, if they are telling you that is there any error, so everything you need to take care that there should not be any error, and there should always be a fun element in you. Okay, so this is the game development whole process. You always start with the prototype. Okay, so my most important suggestion is, even if you are going to build a career, don't just start like thinking about that I will just make a PUBG. Okay, it's quite I won't say impossible, but you won't be able to implement that much functionality in PUBG. So always start from small games, right? And once you make small games, and then you have that much creativity in your mind, and then finally you can create a bigger project. Okay, so that is very important in this case. Okay, so you need to be a patient. Okay, so that with time you will learn many more things, and then eventually you can create a complex. Okay, so and some basic elements which I want to tell you about, like whenever you make a game, there are 4 things you need to take care: mechanics, aesthetics, story, and the technology. Okay, mechanics is you need to decide that if I am a player, how I'm going to interact with my game. Okay, whether I'm going to jump, shoot, or anything. So mechanics is all about the rules and the procedures the game has. Right, means if I have to achieve a goal, how the player will reach to that goal. Okay, so what are the rules and regulations we have for the player? That is what mechanics is. Okay, and second is aesthetics. Aesthetics you can simply call as the feelings you get. Okay, aesthetic is or in simpler words you can say a word, experience. So whatever the sort of experience you have from that game. Okay, now every game is of a different genre, right? So from every game you could have some different type of experiences. Right? For example, if I'm going to make a game something for kids, okay, that they wanted to learn some alphabets or maybe colors or something else, so it is going to have a learning experience for them. Okay, along, see, fun element is everywhere, so entertainment is everywhere, but along with that you can have a sort of learning. Okay, and there can be like, you can also feel relaxed. Okay, so there can be different emotions which will come out of your. So that aesthetic is very important. That is why I was talking about that it's a cyclic approach. That feedback you need to analyze. You need to play the game yourself, or maybe your team will play the game, and you will collect that what sort of experiences you have. And then according to that feedback, you will actually, you can say, update your. Okay, and then is the storyline again. So always whenever you play any game for the very first time, you always see a brief story comes in. Okay, so that story actually creates an impact in the player's mind, that what next is going to happen. Okay, like in my whole you can say last 5 years, the students were actually creating so many games. Like they create on zombies, they created on the university itself. Like if the student has to find out a path in the university, okay, so they build actually a story full-fledged. Okay, like in Ensure, this has happened, and then there is a player, now he's hungry, he has no food, he has nothing. Then eventually he needs to search for food and other elements. Okay, so that is how the story, and then when it creates an impact on player's mind, and definitely that game is going to be played for so long. So story, mechanics, aesthetics is very important. And last but not the least is the technology. So technology is like, you can say whether you are going to make it, you're going to build this game for like, again, the same thing, PC, mobile, and like Android based or iOS or any other platform. So where you are going to use that, right? Which platform you are going to, that is also very important. So generally the games are majorly created for, maybe you can say Android, because the most of the people are using Android devices. Okay, and those who are actually professional gamers, they love to play games on PCs. So it actually is different for perspective for every player. So that we need to decide that what kind of audience we are picking, and then according to that, we can also pick that what technology. Okay, so these are the elements, okay, that which you need to take care whenever you are going to develop. So now finally, let me tell you about that. What are the popular game engines we have? We have so many, like Godot, Game Maker Studio, Lumberyard, Unity, Unreal. But if I talk about that, what is the most popular is, see, one of the stats says that Unity is being used by around 24,000 users. So it's like the most popular game engine. Now, why? Like, maybe you obviously not would be, you are not going to have any idea about what is Unity, what is Unreal, what is actually a game engine. See, it is type of a framework. Okay, what is a framework? Is like, it gives you certain tools which are already available over there. Using those tools, it actually make your game development more easy. Okay, otherwise, how would you create your game? You need certain platform. Right? So this is a platform. It gives you all the tools which are used for gaming, right? So Unity is one of that platform which is used for the creation of game. And in this, the same webinar, I will let you know about how does Unity looks like and what are the tools available and how you can create basic overview. And apart from that, the second tool which has been used is the Unreal Engine. Okay, if I compare Unity or Unreal Engine, Unity is the one of the most, you can say, the beneficial thing about Unity is, like, if you create a game in Unity, that can be built from multiple platforms. Build means that you no need to create your game from the scratch. Okay, you can just build it for multiple platforms in just maybe a single click. Multiple platforms, I mean to say, is iOS, Android, or maybe like Xbox and other platforms are there, right? So if you just want to create a game, it's just a click away. It's not like I have to design the whole environment for the game. I have to design each and everything for the game. No, you have designed, you have done the coding, technical, every part, and you just can develop that game for another. So that is the major benefit of Unity. And one more most important thing which I want to tell you, like, we have only one thing in our mind is that game development is only about games. No, it is much more than that nowadays. Like, you heard about simulations. We have like, if I want to just depict the physical world in the terms of a virtual world, there also we can use Unity. Okay, and one of the most popular terminology which is being used is the gamification. Okay, games can be used as a learning method for the maybe kids or maybe for some other audience as well. Okay, so that is also one part. And other than that, it is also being used in AR/VR category, that is augmented and virtual reality games, right? And recently, I just heard a news that the military, right, they have also signed a contract with the Unity so that they can create a simulation in defense. Okay, so you just don't think about that I have to just create a games only. It is much more than that. You can actually build a career in this and you can create many more things in this. Some games, we tell you, we have Angry Birds, we have this Cuphead, okay, this Hello Night, whose games. So these are some of the games which are made using Unity. Okay, and some of the 3D games, there are many more. I just have described few of them. Okay, it's like more 3D games are being developed using Unity. So there are many like Pokemon, Fall Guys. So maybe you must have played it. I have not played that much, but few of them, right? So there are many games which are created using Unity. And now you got an idea how the things work in a gaming industry. You got an idea what game development is. To start with, I will tell you that you should have a basic programming knowledge if you wanted to be specifically a developer, right? So like in Unity, what are the languages they use is like C++, and even they use video scripting as well. In an Unreal Engine, they also use C++, okay, and they also use blueprints. Blueprints as like there are specific elements or nodes are being defined over there. So you just need to connect. Okay, so rather than specifically doing the coding from your hands, you're just typing. All right, you can just connect the nodes and then you just make your game more, it's a dynamic. Then you have one of the game engine, Lumberyard. It's also C++. One of the languages uses LUA. Then we have Godot. They have their own scripting as well, GD, or you can use C#. All right. And when we have Game Maker, they have their own language, Game Maker language, or we can use JavaScript. So these are the languages. Means if you want to build a career in this, you can start with these, learning these basic languages. And then you can move to start with Unity. Okay, because Unity is actually, as a beginner, it's quite easier to learn, easier to grasp, right? So the whole, you can say the game engine, the tool is not so complex to understand. The tools are available easily, okay? And some of the learning resources we have, like one is Learn Your Unity, okay? And once you join here, obviously you will have we have multiple courses. If I talk about BCMCA, we are actually having a specialization of 4 baskets basically, where we talk about where we teach the whole gaming from basic to advanced, starting with basic designing, where you can say you can learn Blender or Maya, some game designing tools, then you can move further to Unity, then Unreal Engine, okay? And then a little bit about AI as well. Okay, so how AI is being used in Unity, that also. Okay, so you have gaming specialization, and if you just wanted to just go specifically gaming, we also have redesign gaming as well. Some of the courses which is into gaming mode. Okay, so now let's talk about. I just want to know if you have any queries you can ask. Then let's talk about the interface, the Unity. All right. So what is the interface we are actually using? So any queries?
Yes, ma'am. First, before we proceed with the queries, I would like to thank you for coming in and for giving this presentation, this insightful yet informative presentation. And I would also like to thank Rishi sir for coming in, for joining us here. And yes, ma'am, we have multiple queries that have come from the students here. So this query is from Harsha Vardhan, and it says, so he actually says that he had worked with Unity and created 2-3 prototypes already. But when he wants to create a big game like Valorant, where 5 versus 5 characters are based, having their own abilities, creating such can't be done through Unity. So he just wants to know what can be the roadmap for that.
If I talk about a complex level game, so I would also prefer you, name is Harsh. Yeah, Harsh. I would also prefer you to use, you can go with Unreal Engine as well. Okay. But I don't know whether why you are unable to make this level of game in Unity, because Unity also has that potential. But if you want to make it a proper realistic, like the graphics and the rendering, it's much better in case of Unreal Engine. So what you do is you already had an idea with Unity, you know the basics, you can easily start with Unreal as well. So go with Unreal Engine and start building that. They have their own plugins. So you can also go with that other game.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. And I hope, Harsha, that you've got the resolution. Yeah, so Harsha says, okay, ma'am, sounds good. So with this, ma'am, we move on to other queries that we have. Okay, so it is from an anonymous attendee. And the query read is, how can we categorize different games?
It's anonymous. Okay.
Yeah,
Different, it's like different categories. It's like you can say role play games are the role play is like where you can say if I create a game on specific character, so that's a role play category. Okay. So if you create an adventure based game, so that adventure category. All right. And then different categories could be if I am making for a kids. All right. So that could be, you can say maybe you can differentiate maybe by in terms of audience as well. or if I talk about categories, adventure, role playing, and other genres could be like 2D, 3D, right? So there are multiple other categories we can have. Okay.
Okay,
Or maybe
thank you.
it depend on experiences as well. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much, ma'am. And ma'am, we have another query, and again, it is from an anonymous attendee. So it says, what can be some research topics in game development, and what is the average salary of it?
See, the average salary of a gamer. See, as I told you that you need to be patient in this. Okay, so just you need to be patient because it's not like that you just went into the gaming industry and you start earning something around 20 to 25 bucks. No. Okay, you need to start with the basic because it's very important to gain a knowledge into this field. Okay, because the whole system, because you know that for gaming we need the high configuration system. So the companies have the whole setup. Okay, so they will actually. So first 1 year, I won't I won't say that you would have the very good earning, but yes, okay, right? Okay, but as you will have more and more experience in this field, so the earnings. So average, I would say around if someone is having more than 5 years of experience, yeah, he would be earning around more than 20, 30, like so like that has that potential.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. And we have another query, ma'am, and it says, first he or she wants to thank you for the session. And so the attendee wants to know what are some skills that one need to have to become a game designer?
The very first thing I like you should have is the creativity. Okay, you should have that imagination or creativity in your mind. Okay, that is very important. If you are unable to think beyond certain points, so like that designing that you can say attractiveness, right? That is very difficult to maintain in your games. Okay, so first is you should have creativity, and then going towards the path of being a game developer is start with first obviously a basic technical things. Like if you want to be a developer, so you should know the programming languages as I already told you about C++. You start with C++, then you go towards Unity and then see how these things, okay, how that coding is being implemented over there. And if you want to be a designer, in case of designing, obviously, you don't need that technical knowledge, but eventually there you need to know the, you can say the softwares like I talked about Maya or Blender, how the tools are. Okay, so there comes the creativity. Even if I have to design a box, how the outlines will be, how the colors, how it is going to be being textured, that is very important. Because eventually designing something which attracts your player first. After that, the mechanics are
Definitely, ma'am. Thank you so much. And we have another query, ma'am, and it says, ma'am, okay, so the attendee doesn't know coding, and is there any way he can learn any course other than his degree where he can just be a game designer and game developer?
Yeah, I guess my screen is visible to everyone. So there are many more platforms available. Learn, like Unity has its own website. Okay, so they have learn.unity.com. And there are many other platforms. Udemy is there, or Coursera, or many other platforms with there provide some courses, paid courses on Unity. You can start with the basic, and then you just start your own creativity into that. Okay, just like, see, Unity is not that they have given you just one topic and you just implemented that. So, like we do in C++, like print numbers between one, not that like. If they are teaching you one concept, try to add your own creativity and implement that concept in some another field. Okay, means in some another areas. Okay, so this is how you will learn. Okay, even when we like teach here in the campus as well. So let's suppose if I have told them that you have to move a ball, right? So it's not like just take a plane and move a ball. Make some environment, make some terrains or something like that, and then start implementing that movement over there and how the things actually react. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, we have another query, and it says, how can we learn the documentation or learn to write a game?
learn to write a game. Again, first of all, you should know about the aspects of a game, which I was talking about the 4 things: mechanics, story, okay, and then I talk about mechanics, story, and aesthetics. Okay, so rules and regulations. If you actually have a thought process in your mind about the gaming, that this is how basically the game will start. Okay, see, if you have the whole mindset, the path clear, then it is easy for you, right? If the things are not clear in your mind, it's not possible. Okay, how you can start is you just take a game which you love the most. Let's suppose someone loves Candy Crush. Okay, now you see that if for a Candy Crush game, if I have to start with the documentation, see, in documentation also has a you can say set template as in certain objectives. Then you can say storyline, okay, and then you can say what are the characters involved, what are the elements it has, obstacles, everything. So first, always start with a game you love. Then with respect to that game, write it down that I have already played the game. If I have to write a document for this, how will I write it down? Okay, then once you got an idea, then think about your own idea, a new idea, and then you can start. Like,
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, we have another question from Harsha, and the question says, why C++ is preferred over Java?
I won't say like it's preferred over Java. It's like it's a base for everything. C++. Okay, means a person who has a good knowledge in C++ can, you can say, go to any platform. Even if I say someone wants to be a web developer, if he has a C++ knowledge, then he can move toward that. If he wants to be a game developer, then he can move towards that. So means it's that basic language which is being used everywhere. So that is why it is being more preferred. Okay. But if I talk about other programming languages, not that it's not preferred. It's again created from that base. All the concept you studied in C++, that base, and then you had some updates in Java, making it more secure platform.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. And I hope, Harsha, you must have got the answer now of the query that you've raised here. And ma'am, this another query is very interesting. So the query reads, ma'am, which is the best game according to you, and which is easy to play and with the best graphics?
See, you want a good graphics also, and you say that it should be easy for you also. See, if the game is not difficult, then it is not interesting. Okay, a game has to be, to make it more interesting, it has to be difficult. If it is easy, it will become boring for you. Okay, so if you play PUBG for around a week, eventually after a week, you will find that easy. Right? And the graphics is very good. Right? So I mean, I cannot categorize any game. It totally depends on player to player. Okay, those who play who play the game from like morning till evening, for them everything is easy. But those who just play for a specific duration, then obviously the PUBG is also difficult.
Okay. Yeah, I completely agree, ma'am. And thank you. And we have last 2 queries. And so basically they are interrelated. What are the advancements that students has done in LPU in the game design? And with this, there's another question. How can we be polished if we enroll ourselves in LPU?
Okay, that's a quite interesting question. So see, here we actually see, let's suppose you don't join this course, like here in LPU, and you are actually going to learn Unity on your own. Actually, you won't be able to set a pathway for yourself. You just pick a topic from one link, you pick another topic, but you actually don't know what is the pathway I should follow, that eventually, finally, I should get a job. Okay, so that pathway is something which the teachers here would let you know. Okay, and along with obviously assistant professor, I'm alumni coordinator as well. So I have so many students who are working into the gaming industry, and I usually create sessions, like have sessions with them, so that they can actually tell my students that what is the industry specific demand. Okay, so if I talk about the recent session we had with the gamer, okay, now he's head of the game department actually. Okay, and he talks about that he's working in AR VR, and he said, ma'am, that whatever you teach us, it actually is so beneficial for us. character controller, how do we build an environment designing and everything. So means we are able to get to know that this is a pathway we need to follow, right? And this is something we can teach our students. Okay. And secondly is we have we have an animation block here, and there we have a full-fledged setup lab for our gaming students. Okay, so there they have Unreal Engine. So that configuration you need. Okay, so if it is up to the students, we tell them that whether you can have your own laptop, so you can go with the, you can say, labs as well. So that pathway, the main thing is the pathway. Okay, so that path you yourself will not be able to realize that your university can give you. Okay, and again the industry mentor sessions and how the industry is actually taking this game to what level. Okay, and your first question that what students are doing here. Okay, eventually at the end of every semester, my basic like always having a fundamental like is major objective is let's create a project. See, if I'm teaching you for around 3 months, I taught you basic concepts. If you are unable to create a game using those concepts, then there is no use of my like whatever I have taught. Okay, so they have created so many good projects. Eventually, like I'm not having right now, I'm having this basic in my, you can say, PC. So I would ever have shown you. So like you can say, I was talking about zombies layer, right? Like it's type of again related to PUBG. They have designed, then they are multiple zombies and they are just keep on coming, like AI concept they have. So wherever the player goes, zombies will go with that they have implemented. And there is a website, Pepperfry, and there was one idea of theirs is like, you can say I have to create an AR-based app using Unity. AR-based. So what students have done is, let's suppose I want to see that how my sofa looks in my room. That's what's AR. AR is what? Just visualizing the objects in your real world, right? They are not actually present there. So let's suppose if I have to buy a furniture from Pepperfry, and then I would just, before buying it, I want to see that how it looks in my room. Okay, so that type of apps are also being created by our students. Okay, so they have created that AR-based apps also and AI-based also. There are multiple other projects they have created.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. And I think we are done with the questions. Now, I would like to ask participants and attendees, if you have other questions as well, you can post in the Q&A box or chat box. And if you, if we are done with the questions, so, thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for coming in, for resolving queries of our attendees, for giving your experience to us and navigating us through this development journey of the game. And I'd like to thank Rishi sir also for coming in, for joining in, for providing his assistance. So, ma'am, with your permission, can I take up some admission queries now and show them a little about the site?
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity and to share my own experience with everyone.
And pleasure is ours, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, so now attendees, to all the questions that had all, that we were targeting about the admissions. So this is one short resolution for that. And this is our site, that is lpu.in. So this is the site that you need to put in your browser, and this will be the interface that will be coming in front of you. Right. So these are all the highlights of the university that might have happened, that may be presently happening, or might happen in the near future, but all related to the university. So I'd like you to kindly explore the site, and I promise you won't regret that. Now, there is one thing, since we're catering about admissions here specifically. So I'll go, basically, once you click on this admissions here, we have whole segregated programs like after 12th, after graduation, after postgrad, after 10th, doctoral, etc. And now let's take an example of, let's say, regular programs. So simple click on this regular program, and once you click on this regular program, and if you've done your 12th grade, there will be a whole lot of disciplines that would be visible in front of you. You can see all the disciplines here: engineering, computer science, management, law, pharmaceutical sciences, physiotherapy, etc., etc. So since we have had a lot of talk about computer applications and IT today, why not take an example of the same? So we simply clicked on computer applications and IT. And once I click that, all the programs offered under that particular discipline is visible to you. You can see BCA, BSc, and there are a whole lot of programs that are visible. So in whichever program you want to take part in, you simply click on that. And once you click on that, you will be given all the options here. Okay, these are all the options that you would want to know about a course. So next 1 minute, I'll be briefing them all. So this program details actually gives you an idea of the eligibility criteria, like what do you require to take part in a particular course. Now, if I talk about highlights, gives you a view about what all research is, what all conferences, what all students have achieved, and what all rankings are of the university, in context with the course. Now is the curriculum part. That is very interesting to know, is that you will be knowing beforehand, even before you take admission in the course, that what you will be taught in your 3 years course program, right? And all the topics and whatever topics there are, you can actually find it out in which year, in which term you're going to be taught what. And I think that would be very beneficial for you, because that would help you, to make a disciplined decision whether you want to go for a particular course or not. And after that is the fee structure. Once you click on the fee, this is our fee, that is 80,000 per semester. But again, this is not something our students usually pay. Why? Because we have we have scholarships for the students. So you can avail up to 38% of the scholarship on your program fee, and your fee can be reduced to 49,600 based on LPU NIST score or the 12th grade marks. So you need to just check in which category you fall in. We have 3 categories of the scholarship here, 1, 2, and 3. And you click on this hyperlink there, and you can know the tentative cut of this LPU NIST test also. Okay, now just imagine you were not able to get any of the scholarship from that part. So don't be sad. We have other scholarships as well. We have scholarships based on innovation, startup, and entrepreneurship. If you're in sports or you're in curricular activities or social service, you can get a scholarship. And you can also get the scholarship if you are a topper of a education board. And we have certain other financial aids as well that you can avail. So you need to check in which category do you fall in and start applying to that. Now is important date. An important date is the last date of admission is 15th June. It's not too far now, it's just 3 days now. So I would ask you to kindly apply for the course or apply for the test. And how you can apply is simply click on apply now option, and there will be bare minimum requirements that will be asked, your name, gender, etc. And after that you click on submit, and you will be given your dashboard. And after that you can simply apply to the course there. I hope that I've given you a basic idea as to how you can proceed with the admission, and how you can check what course you want to, and which course has what benefits for you, and what you will be taught. For example, if I could not address anything in the in this webinar, write in the Q&A box or the chat box, or you can simply schedule a call with us. You can WhatsApp us or have a live video counseling session as well. So last but not the least are the numbers that I will be showing. So these are the numbers. You can take a screenshot or maybe call on these number, write it down somewhere. These are the numbers of our counselors here. So you can just call on these numbers, and our counselors will be here to provide their assistance. So with this, I think I would want to take leave now. And at last, I would want to thank everyone for coming in, sir, ma'am, for coming in here, and all the participants to be here for this long hour now. So thank you so much for joining in, and kindly explore our site lpu.in, and we have webinars that are coming in regularly every day. Kindly check them also, and in whichever webinar you feel you want your knowledge, you want to gain that knowledge, you can register it for free. So until next webinar, stay safe and stay healthy, and thank you so much for joining in.